Hey guys, Engineer Wannabe here. Today again with my good friends Clayton and Toran, and all of you guys in the chat as well. It's good to see you all. Also, really, probably one of the highlights of my Saturdays. So I look forward to chatting with you all. So yeah, this is more for me than for you guys. So or anyone else in the chat. But yeah, it's really good to see you, Clayton and Toran. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Clayton,
Doing
what's on
well.
your wrist?
So I took it off, but the SLA Seiko SLA 043, the crystal is domed and very trippy, so really hard to tell. But boy, this is a great watch. The brushing on this watch is, I mean, top notch.
Yeah,
And the ever again another very clever name from Seiko, ever brilliant steel. It just has a different look than your traditional stainless steel, so the brushing really is accentuated. It's stunning.
yeah, that's really cool and
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
huge
thank you.
congrats for picking that up. Uh, Torin, what's on your wrist?
I picked something up today. It's actually
All right.
on loan, but I'm a huge fan. This
Oh
is
no
the
Oh
way!
yes.
Longines, the Big Eye titanium with the petroleum blue dial.
Beautiful.
Cool,
So I'm going to be reviewing this in the coming week.
nice. And
Yeah.
I saw your review on the Aquis 400, so I really enjoyed that one.
Oh,
It's
thanks.
yeah. Clayton, let's talk a bit about your new watch.
Yes.
So you traded your Grand Seiko for the SLA. I know a lot of people would be taking in a sharp breath at this point, but
Yep.
help us through your thought process here.
So yeah, went from one of the best Grand Seiko values to a $4,500 Seiko, which makes most people, yeah, like you said. What? Um,
Yeah,
so for my lifestyle and just the way I wear watches, as soon as I got the Soko, beautiful watch, I've wanted that for a long time. It was just maybe a little dressier than I'm comfortable wearing on a regular basis, and it's just a little too dressy for me. That was it.
yeah,
And I wore it for a while, like I said, with my I went home for my grandmother's funeral services, wore it those few days, and really that's all I had worn it since I got it in June, here and there a little bit.
yeah,
And it was just kind of sitting there. I was never reaching for it. As stunning as that dial is, and as neat as it is to just watch the spring drive in action, it's just not something I was going for. And I was just, I got it with at Topper Jewelers. I have a great relationship with my representative there. And I was just looking at watches. And the SLA 043 is a watch that I've had my eye on for a long time. I know you're not a big fan, but I love that baby blue seconds hand with the blue dial. And I just love the 62 Moss. So I talked to her about possibly doing a trade, and yeah, like I said on the podcast with you last week, it's like breaking up with someone just because distance, but you really still like each other a lot, but the distance it doesn't quite work. That's what it was like with the Grand Seiko. Loved it, thought it was really one of the better watches I'd ever experienced, but ultimately not me. So I went for
mm,
it. I know a lot of people would question it, but for me it was the right decision, and that's I think people understand that.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna share the screen so people get a good look at the watch. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what it is, but this is the watch in question, the SLA 043. So my issue with this model, it's almost perfect, is the second tone blue seconds hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, to me, if it was just a steel hand, it would have been perfect, and I probably would own this right now. But the thing that gives me pause is that blue seconds hand, and yeah, it's great that you love it, and I might come around to it too. It's just that weird. It's a bit jarring for me. But yeah, you mentioned that it's half a click off on the bezel.
Yeah, a
as
little
well?
bit. You have to. Yeah, I mean, not even half. I mean, it's almost on. You just have to. You line it up like right in between clicks, and it's.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it makes it a bit more bearable because there's no triangle
Yeah,
on the tip,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, it's
So yeah.
really it's a small circle. So I mean, yeah, it's I got it. I have it lined up. It
Yeah.
works. It's
Yeah.
fine.
And there's no
And
chaptering, right?
no, there isn't. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Good.
I think Seiko's getting rid of chapter rings.
Yeah. um but yeah, before we move on to you, Torin, and catch up with you, we'll just say hi to everyone in the chat. We've got Underachieving Watch Collector here with us, talking about unplugging from the YouTube watch matrix to be content. I don't think that would help, but we'll chat about that. Peter, good to see you, sir. Bill, how's it going? Young Excellency, good to see you. Nilo as well. Hey man. Chaz, how's it going? He's gonna be on Watch Soup tomorrow. So you guys are gonna get a second dose of Chaz. Chaz was
Awesome.
in Friday night live stream with Bobby Legs last night. So yeah, busy man. Craig, good to see you. Leia is here as well. Hey Leia, how's it going? Let's see. Guys, let us know what you're wearing on your wrist. Justin's here. Hey, Sam's here too. Good to see you, Sam. Bruce, how are you doing? Philly watching. I feel like I'm channeling Rob. I feel like I'm talking kind of like Bobby Legs. I don't know why. Because I
Yeah, you
almost said,
spend enough time with him, you start to sound.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, I almost said when I saw Chaz, I said Chaz from the Berg, because Rob always says that.
Yoma shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, good to see you. Tennessee Mike's here as well. Dust Diver, wow, a lot of you guys are here. Joey, how's it going, sir? Let's see. Did I miss anyone? MD Chaz, James Duffy, Matthew Davis. Yeah, I'm sorry if I missed anyone, but I think I got everyone. Cool. So yeah, let's wait. Did James Duffy is wearing his Seamaster 36 mil. I love how he calls it the Wii Master. That's great.
That's a great name.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't think I missed anyone's wrist checks, guys. Chaz is wearing the 300T. Nice. Young Excellency is wearing his GLX 5600. Don't start talking about Mrs. Legs. Yeah. Isn't that Kevin S? Kevin S is Mrs. Legs, right? That's the theory. All right, Mario, good to see you as well, sir. Joey's wearing the Pelagos. Nilo's wearing the SO42, Breitling SO42. Not sure. Do you know what the SO is? Super Ocean.
Super Ocean.
Yeah,
There you
Yeah.
Super
go.
Ocean.
Yeah.
I was
Cool.
wearing that today.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
SBDCO51, classic. Great choice. Steve's here. Hey, Steve. Good to see you. And Sands of Time is wearing his SBGM 221. Cool.
Nice.
Cool. All right. So, Torin had an adventure today. You.
Yeah, it was a busy day for me actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, first thing this morning, I loaded up my car. So for people who follow my channel, I recently reviewed the Oris Aquis with the 400 caliber. That watch was lent in from Kavar Jewelers in Brampton. So Brampton's about 2 hours northeast of me because I live in London, Ontario. So I met up with my twin brother near Kitchener. We both drove up together to Kavar Jewelers and dropped off the Oris Aquis and then picked up this guy here, the Longines to borrow. And then after that, my brother was really wanting to check out your authorized dealer, Sanjay. So we drove over to Vaughan. We stopped in there too, took a look at some nice Grand Seikos, some Omega, Zenith. And then after all that was done, we waited 2 hours in traffic on the way back to Kitchener. We did a mountain bike ride, and then I got back to London about a few hours ago.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
didn't make any purchases per se, just
No,
just
I need your magic negotiating skills for that.
yeah. So who did you meet? Stacy? Was Stacy there today?
I want to remember the gentleman's name. It wasn't John because you knew he was on vacation, but
Yeah.
he was wearing the Grand Seiko SBGA 229, just like
229.
John. So they both had the same diver. So I think
Yeah.
it could have been Stacy. Yeah.
That would have been Stacy, I think.
Yeah, very nice gentleman. Yeah.
Yeah. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he
Yeah.
happily showed us whatever. Like he pulled out whatever he wanted. My
Yeah.
brother really wants me to get that white birch
Yeah.
Grand Seiko. It's a great watch.
So what do you think? Would you be willing to go white birch? Do you feel like it would be a compromise in any way?
I think, I mean, I would love to get my hands on it to review it and stuff. Where it sits
Yeah.
in the collection, I don't know. I mean, it would kind of, like, I already have my SBGN 003 and I got my SARB 035, so that's like the white dial. I would make it fit. It's a
Yeah.
matter of either selling off some pieces or trading something in
Yeah.
to like put towards it because it's pretty pricey.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, I've been seeing a lot of blue dials lately. I mean, you see blue dials every day, but I don't have a blue dial in my collection. And of course, we're gonna kind of talk about this, but contentment. I should be content with what I have, right? I've got all my bases covered, but now I'm thinking, hey, I need a blue dial in my collection, and yeah. So I mean, how long have I made it? I think I made it like 31 days in my watch fast so far. Um, I don't
Good
know if
job.
I'll be able to hold out next week if we do end up going there. But yeah, I miss having a blue dial. Justin's asking green. I need a green dial too, man. uh, I think it's just an excuse, but yeah, maybe I'll get over it. But yeah, I was gonna mention Clayton because you have this. You've kind of gone through this where you pick dress watches. You really love the way they look,
Yeah.
and it seems like you revert back to dive watches because that's kind of more your comfort
Yeah.
zone, right? Or just sporty watches in general. I think I have the opposite. I really want to. I love sporty dive watches or field watches, but it always revert back to dressier pieces. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but
Maybe we want to like the respective watches, and
yeah,
maybe it's like I talked with Pete from Not So Obvious Watches, getting to know myself and know what I like, and I don't know that I'll buy a dressy watch again. I always find them attractive, like with Grand Seiko, especially the dials and the polishing. But I think I know enough now. I should probably
yeah,
just admire from afar.
yeah. Because you had a beautiful enamel dial SPB 111
111. Yep, the green. Yep,
green.
yep.
Yeah, I own that one too. I don't know if you knew, but
I saw
I
your
have.
review
Yeah,
before I bought it. You were like the only person to actually review that before I bought it. So
yeah, yeah. I think I think one of the things that killed it for me was when I learned that the indices were probably stamped in from behind,
yeah,
and then painted, enameled over. But yeah, I wanted it so bad to be applied indices, but yeah. Anyway, I forgot to do a wristwatch check. I'm wearing the Speedy, so a 3861 Speedy.
great on that strap.
Yeah. It's the Nectin strap. Forever reminds me of the Nectin.
I was gonna say the
um,
strap remains, but the watch always leaves.
yeah,
Yeah,
it does. And I got to get my money's worth because it wasn't like a cheapo strap. But um, let's dip into the chat real quick. Um, let's see. Whoa, Eric Strickland's here, or not here, but was here. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for staying. Thanks for saying hi. If you guys haven't seen his Instagram, you guys have to. It's insane his collection. Um, Let's Chaz doing a countdown on his on my watch fest maybe. Um, Pale Horse is here. Good to see you. Um, Craig mentioning the dressy watches I like don't have micro adjustments in the clasp. Example, Cartier Santos. Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, it's a bit of a bummer, but it doesn't really affect me very much. I tend to wear watches a bit loose, so micro adjustment becomes a moot point, unless if it gets super hot. Peter said tried on the SPGE 255 today, loved it. That's cool. I'm not sure what color one that is, but that's the 40 millimeter spring drive GMT. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. Was that the green one, Peter? Um, but yeah, Trickle's here. Good to see you. Okay, Caliber YKG is here. I don't know if I said hi to you, but how's it going? Okay, so Clayton and I were talking about Sentimental watches on his podcast. There's a link in the description for that if you guys are interested. But I thought maybe we can kind of chat about that a little bit here as well. Hear some of you guys in the chat if you guys have any sentimental timepieces, and if you could write a quick note about it. We'd love to read it and hear here are some sentimental stories here. Why a watch really means a lot to you. Why a watch might be a keeper. I was going to ask Toran because we haven't actually spoken about sentimentality. I don't think on the stream. And quickly rehash my sentimental story, which isn't really a story, and maybe Clayton, you can kind of quickly go over yours as well. But yeah, if you guys want something really in depth, definitely go check out the Watchdog podcast for the episode from this week. Uh, but yeah, Torin, since you're new, I'm gonna throw you under the bus and
Sure.
ask if you have any. What's the most sentimental piece you have, and if you have any stories to go with it. Um,
Yeah.
have it.
Okay. I think I might have shared this once or twice on the stream. It's going to be I pulled it out. The SARB
Oh yes, of course.
035, right?
Yes.
Right? If it'll show. Here it is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I mean, really the story behind it is at the stage of my watch collecting journey, probably about a year into my YouTube channel. I mean, I was mostly doing watches, sub $1,000, and for me, I tried a lot of watches like the Seiko SAR before trying the SAR because I just looking at the spec sheet, I thought it was too small for my 7.5-inch wrist. So I tried like other Seikos similar, like there's the Sari line, SARY, which is like 40 millimeters, I think, or 41.
42 maybe.
42 maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So I tried those first. The white dial one that looks like the SARB. Didn't really scratch the itch, and then I finally pulled the trigger and bought the 035, and I was truly blown away by it. Like at that price point, and again, I got it just sub $500 before the prices went ridiculous. So sub 500 Canadian.
Yeah.
And my immediate thought was like, you know what? I really got to try out the SARB 033, the black dial version. So I doubled down and actually searched around, picked up that one as well, wore both for a bit, and I couldn't really justify keeping two. But then because I'm a twin, and when our birthday rolled around, I gifted the black dial to my brother. So he's got the black 033, and I got the white 035. And for that reason, I just think it's really kind of cool because we got the twin SARBs, and it's never going to leave the collection. And he wears his 033 a lot more frequently than I wear mine. And it's nice to see him wear it a lot. He actually wore it today. He wore it to your authorized dealer. So
nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm looking forward to meeting Darren in person. So so we can just chat a bit. But yeah, that's really cool. That's cool that you it's really cool that you have a twin brother, and it's really cool that you guys have matching watches. So that's definitely a sentimental piece for sure. One thing I didn't mention on the podcast was one of my more sentimental pieces. One piece that I really can't sell, and the reference number kind of evades me. I think it's a 34 millimeter um, Presage SRP
Mm.
843. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so it's the Fuyugeshiki. So it's the 34 millimeter Presage Snowflake. It's called the Winter Scene in Japanese Fuyugeshiki. In English is the Winter Scene. And I bought two versions of it. So for my wife's and my anniversary, I bought the Power Reserve version, which was a huge mistake, literally and figuratively, because it's 15 millimeters thick, I think. Um, and I got the 34 mil for her. Again, somewhat of a mistake. It was, a bit too finicky for her. She really doesn't like to wind and set the watch. She admittedly doesn't like analog watches. She prefers digital. So it's just quicker for her to read the time. And yeah, so yeah, it wasn't a great idea, but the sentimentality of that watch is there, and I flipped out of the SRPB version because it was so thick and I just couldn't wear it. I should have just kept it, considering how much it cost. It wasn't an expensive piece, but yeah. So I have this beaten and damaged uh, winter scene watch from Seiko that's beaten because of the Hardlex crystal, and we have no idea how it all got beaten up. But so yeah, that would be one of my sentimental pieces. And on the podcast, I mentioned more so than the watch. I think I mentioned if anything is sentimental, it would be the SBGY 003, the Grand Seiko watch, my favorite watch. I wear it everywhere, and so there's a lot of memories on it. Being with the kids, going hiking with the kids, going to Niagara Falls with the kids, and my family, and just doing so much with it. So all of those memories are kind of tied to that watch. And on top of that, I have a buckle that I try to always have on that watch, and it's a buckle given to me by Amin from Amin Reviews. And I think that was the first gift someone from the watch community gave me, and every gift from the watch community, like my friends, um, is really important to me. So that watch buckle goes on my best strap, or usually the best strap that goes on the watch, and it's tends to stay there unless if I put it on a beads of rice or something. And the other thing was the Grand Seiko water bottle that Kevin gave me. So, yeah, it's not the watches really. In the end, we kind of talked about how the people, the friendships we made, the people. That's the most sentimental thing that we got out of this hobby. That I feel, that these people really care. And Clayton had a great story about how. Well, I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, Clayton. If you want to share a couple of stories, and then we'll dip into the chat, see what everyone else is sharing in there, and yeah, go on from there.
I was going to ask you, is the water bottle, does it have Zaratsu polishing? The Grand Seiko water
Yes.
bottle? It does?
Yeah,
That's
yes,
cool.
yes. They sent those water bottles to the micro artist studio. Even has Anglage and Tokyo stripes.
That's so cool.
Um, yeah. No, it doesn't.
I
It's
was
just
gonna say,
it's
I was half joking, but I was like, really?
no, no. I just ran with the joke.
I was gonna
Um,
say the printing on the top of the bottle and the side doesn't line up perfectly when you try
yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a rebranded Swell bottle. So they're
Okay,
they're
cool.
kind of popular bottles. They have like a wide base and a really narrow top. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you see them everywhere. But rebranded Grand Seiko with the Grand Seiko blue. Yeah.
So I'll share one that I did not share on the podcast, and then I'll briefly talk about what I talked about on the podcast. So
Yeah.
again, you look at it, not much horological significance. The Orange Samurai SRPC 07, I believe. I was getting when I was, you know, first got into the hobby, like we're talking first month, you know how obsessed we are. We're still obsessed, but you know, you're discovering this whole world of watch YouTube and watch podcasts, and I was immersed and I was, you know, buying affordable watches. And my wife, who's very supportive, we talked about that as well. She went to Kohl's and she sent me a picture of that watch in the case. She had Kohl's cash and there was like a crazy sale. I think it was actually Labor Day weekend a few years ago. And she said, "Would you like this watch? I think it's neat. I like the orange dial." I was like, "Of course." And great. So she sent me a picture. It was in the case, so it was kind of hard to tell. She got it home, and I was so excited. I opened it up, and there was a huge chip in the bezel, like missing. And I was like, "Oh, honey, no." She's like, "Oh, I didn't even notice it." So we went back to Kohl's, and they didn't have another one, and I was bummed. And there's several Kohl's around, and she said, "Well, I can call to another Kohl's and I'll see if they have one." So, and this was actually on Labor Day itself. So she called. There was another Kohl's there. We got stuck in traffic. It took forever. At this point, she was pretty annoyed with me, but we made it to the other Kohl's and they had one. And we ended up like having a little argument, but then like laughing and went out to like a really nice lunch, and we had actually had a great day, and we still laugh about that. Every time I wear the watch, I show it to her and say, "Remember this?" And she's like, "Yeah." But that's just kind of a special story we have, and it makes me smile every time I wear it.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
It's kind of transitioned into a work watch for me as well. If I, you know, can use an analog watch at work that day, I'll wear that. It's just a, you know, it's legible. It's just a fun watch. So
Yeah, for sure. If any watch can take it, that
yep,
watch will do it.
that watch can.
Mhm.
And then I talked about a Skagen fashion watch actually that my wife got me probably 11-ish years ago, well before I was into watches. It was my daily watch. I had an office job before I started my dog running business, so I wore this all the time. Wore it on my wedding day, and it's my 10-year anniversary actually in a week from
Wow.
yesterday. So I'm going to. I decided I never wear the watch, but I decided every we go out to dinner for our anniversary, so I'm going to wear that Skagen once a year and on our anniversary dinner date. So because you know, I always make sure it's running. I always set the date. I always make sure you know it's going. Change the battery if need be, but never wear it. But it still has sentimental value. And then on the podcast, I talked about a digital Timex that my grandpa had. I remember him wearing it in the early to mid '90s. He died in 1998, and this summer when I was home, my mom actually found that watch at my grandma's house in a closet. So I was it was emotional week as it is, and I you know I that they have meant a lot to me. So you know, getting that watch, and it's a, you know, $20 watch, but it's got to be going on 30 years old, fired right up with a new battery. Indiglo doesn't work. I don't know if I'll go through the trouble of replacing the bulb or figuring that out, but yeah, those are just three. You know, they may not seem like special watches to anyone just seeing them, but to me they mean a whole lot. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. A really amazing stories. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you
Congrats on
guys,
the 10 years.
oh, thank you, thank you.
yeah, yeah, happy anniversary.
We're not going to Coles. I
Yeah.
don't want to push my luck.
Yeah. Hey, it's Labor Day, so we're
Yeah.
coming out. Let's go.
Flashbacks.
Yeah, I'm surprised it was open. Did
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
shopping day, I guess. It's pretty busy. It was like crazy busy. That's why it took us forever to get to the other Coles.
right, makes sense. Steve was sharing how his most sentimental watch is the Omega from his wife. Will always be with him. Makes his heart happy every time he looks at it. That's really sweet too, Steve. Yeah, that's a really cool Omega too. James Duffy mentioned I wore a Seiko Monster when I took my dad to New York City before he passed. Wore a Seiko Rishi dial while giving his eulogy, and now I own his vintage Rolex day date. Wow,
Very cool.
all keepers he mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that's tough.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Dust Diver mentioning I have a Sakura jump hour. That's one of my favorite because my wife got it for me back when we started dating. She noticed me checking it out at a pawn store and went back and bought it later.
Oh,
Wow.
that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's a keeper. Nilo has his father's GP from around 1960. Wore it for everything
Wow.
except swimming. Still runs. Wow. Very cool. Darren mentioning how his SARP 33 is very sentimental for him too.
That's my brother.
Yeah. Check out his Instagram. Yeah. Young Excellency mentioning how cool it is that you guys have a SARP between you guys. Leia story. Just after I placed the order for the Aichi, finally I got permission to marry my wife. That meant a lot for me.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. That's interesting as well that I'm guessing you asked your wife's parents for permission to marry her. I remember doing that.
Yeah, stressful time.
Yeah. I think my father-in-law, he was juicing and he got this new juicer. Um, it was weird how I met my wife. I met my father-in-law first, so I knew him before I knew my wife. But yeah, he was juicing and I was just following him around the kitchen, like and I finally asked him and he said, took you long enough. he knew. But yeah.
In my mind, when he first said he was juicing, I was thinking something else.
Oh.
Like
Yeah, I
he
was thinking that
intimidating,
too.
like bodybuilder, and he was
Yeah.
like just like manhandle you.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Literal juicing, like carrots and oranges.
My father-in-law's a real ball buster, so I knew asking him he was going to say something sarcastic, and yeah, he did. I think he corrected my grammar or something, and then literally at our wedding, it was a pretty informal affair, and he gave her to me, and he said no give backsies. Literally what he said.
That's funny.
Uh,
Paul's here. Good to see you, Paul. Can anyone with knowledge tell me the difference between Geneva stripes, Glasuta stripes, and Seiko stripes? I always thought it was just a play on words or a play on cities. Tokyo stripes, Geneva stripes, Glasuta stripes. I don't know if they're actually different. I didn't think they were, but do you guys know?
no.
I think you're right, to my knowledge. Oh, the location of his striping?
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I just thought it was like the country of origin, you know.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I think the first time I heard Tokyo stripes was, I think, from TGV. He said Tokyo stripes and he giggled, and I was like, that's pretty good. Holden Coffee, good to see you, sir. Finally got the baby to bed and to sleep, so daddy and mommy are finally free. Hey, I just did that too. I got in like 2 minutes before this the stream. Penny's here. Hey, Penny, good to see you.
Hey, Penny.
My wife bought me the 2018 Omega Seamaster Professional 300. Forever be my favorite, for sure.
Cool.
Let's see. Okay. Penny was mentioning Speedmaster is the most special watch, but I keep selling it. Yeah. You should have stayed far away from YouTube, Penny. Turtle has been with me the longest, Sam says. First time I got it, I dropped it, got it serviced, been with me for all important situations.
Cool.
Yeah. All
I'm
right.
just curious. Has anyone ever had to service their Seiko like prospects? Like, I'm just wondering like what the service cost would be on that because they're not super expensive.
Yeah, I've never owned a watch long enough to serve.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm wondering because I'm feeling like this Sarb. I did a wrist swap here. I
Yeah.
feel like it's probably going to need a service in a year or so. If my brother's, I threw it on the time grapher. He'll probably need his service at some point too.
Yeah. I mean, the 6R15, 6R35, they're borderline disposable.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it might make sense to just buy a new movement, throw it on, or get a watchmaker to buy.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
I might just get a watchmaker to replace it. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And it might end up, well, actually, the 6R15 from that time was really reliable. And yeah, I don't know how long you've had it, but I don't think you'll need a service next year. It'll probably keep going for who
yeah,
knows.
it's keeping decent time. I've had this
Yeah.
for 3.5 years, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You're fine. I mean, 6R15s, they can go for like 10 years, 15 years without service.
Mm.
And especially if that movement hasn't been, like, if the case back hasn't been cracked open, I'm pretty sure it'll go at least 10 years without needing any work done.
Sweet.
My
Yeah.
Samurai ran terrible right out of the gate, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, when it runs so bad, you don't know when you need a service.
Yeah. Maybe when it starts keeping decent time,
Yeah.
something's wrong.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I think Falling Titan, Escapement and Watch was mentioning that a lot of people, when they get if they get the 6R movement
The
service, that
35.
they swap it out for a 4R.
Yeah, well,
Mm.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Anecdotally, I've had way better experience with 4Rs than 6Rs. But
But no,
Same.
Sanjay, to your point, you're right. Like 6Rs from this era, like in this one, and then I have a first gen Sumo. Like they've been pretty reliable, like surprisingly reliable compared to some of the other Seikos I've had.
yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully
Even the
they'll-
QC issues, like the QC, I think was better back then too. Like on the Sumo, everything lines up. Like
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
really surprising.
Yeah, I feel like QC issues started around when I started getting really interested. So like 3 years ago, I feel like it started getting pretty bad around that time. Over lubrication of movements, I've heard stuff like that. But
Yeah, I have a new old stock SKX from 2014, and yeah, it's great. Bezel's
yeah,
solid, lines up. Yeah, great. Keeps decent time. Pretty good time, actually.
yeah.
So,
Well, that's interesting because I know Pete from Not So Obvious Watches mentions, that it's just not the value that Seiko holds to have something that precise.
mhm.
But if we go back a few years, then it seems like they had that value back then. So
Yeah.
something must have changed if Pete is right. That said, if you're okay with a few inaccuracies here and there, you get a really great watch. Despite the issues, I still feel the finishing can't be beat. Um, just the look can't be beat. And
All the original designs, I'm
Yeah.
always drawn to them. Like I went on a Seiko break this year, kind of done, and now I'm back in. And
yeah,
maybe I'll be done someday again.
yeah.
That's
I
just it. You can take a break, but then you look at the catalog again and you're like pulled in by something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely I sold all my Seikos, but now I have two back in the collection. So, or if you don't count my Presages, I guess I have four, but I
I
don't
never
count
see you wear those.
the red dial.
The 34, yeah, the Presage.
I do wear them. Um, not too often. Maybe once every 3 weeks.
Okay.
If you average it out, yeah. I have a red dial 34 mil and the Fuyugeshiki 34. Um, but yeah, yeah, let's move on. I know there's a lot going on in the chat. Leo was mentioning 6R35 quite notorious regarding the accuracy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was talking to Kevin about it. Sorry, Keith. I was talking to Keith about it, and he was asking me how if my Seiko has settled down, my SBB 213, because a lot of people say give it time, it'll settle down. But I told him no, no, it hasn't settled down. It's a different accuracy rating every time I put it on. So yeah, it'll be it'll be accurate one day. The next day it'll be -40. The next day it'll be +5. Um, yeah. Anyway.
That SPB 111 I had was just terrible. I think it was like plus 30, 40
Yeah.
right out of the gate.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but Bobby's here. Good to see you, Bobby. Thanks for making it out. We should hear what you went to go see. I know you're itching to move out of something, but I'll save that for a stream for a good chat. um, yeah, SPB
Oh,
143, beautiful. The 213 has the same watch case, and I wish it has the same bezel, the brushed steel bezel. But so speaking of which, we can talk about being content. Watch contentment. Um, can I know we have a lot of excuses, right? I guess, Torin and I were YouTubers. Clayton's a podcaster. Even though I don't think you use that excuse, Clayton, to bring content into your channel. I know
no.
we do.
Yep.
And Torin and I have definitely used that excuse. Hey, it's for the channel. It's we got to keep the
Gotta do it
content.
for the fans.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of cooled off on that. I don't make my decisions based on that anymore, which is nice. Which
Mm.
also makes it easier to maintain my watch fasts. Um, but there's always an issue. There's always an issue with the collection. You think you perfect something. You think you're set and you're good, but there's always an issue. Like for me right now, I am missing a high beat Grand Seiko. I always want the three pillars of Grand Seiko in my collection, and I moved out of my high beat GMT, expecting to add a high beat or not a GMT, but a high beat Grand Seiko back into the collection. Um, but I have not done that. The Omega Planet Ocean kind of sidetracked me a little bit. So I don't have a high beat. I have a spring drive and a 9F. Now I don't have another issue has popped up before I solved the other issue was I don't have a blue dial in the collection. So there's this nagging uh, and insurmountable mountain of uncontentment. um, and I don't know. I feel like almost if we did simplify completely, it would almost be quitting the hobby. But
Yeah.
simplify it completely down to 2 3 watches. We talked about this in Watch Soup. There it doesn't exist. A 2 watch collection or a 3 watch collection really doesn't exist. And it's a hoax. It's a lie. Great video by Max from Hot Ones. If you guys haven't checked it out, but yeah, so there's always this nagging sense of incompleteness, and it's like the carrot in front of the horse or the cheese in front of the mouse. There's you gotta complete it. You gotta finish it. Gotta perfect it. Have you guys gone through this mentality? uh,
Every day.
Yep, every
yeah.
day. Yep.
So, Torin, specifically you, I know since you had the channel, you feel like I feel like you almost have 2 collections. One is a rotating collection, and one is a collection that's a bit more fixed. And I feel
Yeah.
you've kept watches way longer than most others, uh, uh, namely myself, because you've had the Explorer, the Breitling for a significant amount of time, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but what say? Point us to some incomplete holes in your collection that you want to fill. Something that might be plaguing you right now.
Yeah, for me, I get a little anxious when I'm heavy on one dial color. Like I think we talked about it at Watch Soup. Like I'm heavy on black dials,
Yes, yeah.
and like I'm itching to potentially move the. I think I mentioned to you my Speedmaster, even though I picked it up with you like what, less than 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's your most sentimental watch.
Well, yeah, I mean it is because you were there, but
Yeah.
if you're there with me when I trade up, then I feel
Oh,
like it came full circle. Like I can allow myself to do that.
yeah. Just download it into the new watch,
Yeah.
like
Well, the
the new
reason
phone.
being is like you mentioned, I feel like I almost have like a fixed collection and a more liquid collection, and I know for a fact like two it's surprising. Two of my fixed ones are 39 millimeter black dials, so it's the Explorer and it's the Grand Seiko SB GM 003, my GMT,
Yeah,
and then on top of that, now I have the Omega Speedmaster as well as I really like my German Flieger, the Archimede 39 millimeter pilot watch. It's like really
yeah,
clean.
yeah.
So surprisingly, like out of and those are like I wear pretty regularly. And for me, I don't actually utilize a chronograph as a complication too much. And if I want to move into something a little more higher end, I feel like the best value return I can get is potentially moving the Omega Speedmaster,
Right.
which I feel like that might be a little of a knee-jerk reaction. Maybe I should hang on to it more because it's an icon and it's a really good watch. But at the same time, I want to move into a different colorway. Um, Earlier this week, I was looking into potentially getting a Doxa 750T with the
Yeah,
orange dial, or then there's the white birch that my brother is egging me on to get. So
yeah. Do
we'll
do you
see.
feel like you ever get this feeling that every watch collector owns a Speedmaster, and so it might not be for you? Kind of wanting to be that contrarian. Do you? I know a
Mm,
lot of people suffer from that because a lot of people say, we're going to talk about in Watch Soup tomorrow, TGV and Mark from Long Island Watch. They had a conversation, and Mark mentioned, everyone has a sub. Everyone
right.
has, in a similar way, everyone has a Speedmaster, and because of that, he kind of doesn't like the sub. Um, do you feel like you have that kind of feeling, or are you kind of immune to that? Because a lot of people are immune to that.
I would think it's naive for me to say I'm immune to it. I subconsciously I do feel like that might be the case because I'm always drawn to watches that are a little outside the norm. Like, for example, like with the Speedmaster, the first automatic chronographs I owned were the Zin 103, which looks
Right.
kind of similar in terms of layout. And I owned both the Hesalite version of that and the Sapphire Sandwich of that, right? Coming kind of similar to the what the Omega is doing. But to me, I also liked it because I just found it had a little more specs in terms of being durable. Like it was 200-meter water resistance on that chronograph, right, versus 50 meters on the on the Omega, and it was automatic versus a manual wind. And I'm
Yeah.
starting to like. I feel like certain people, and probably you, Sanjay, you appreciate the manual wind interaction more than I do. To
Okay.
me, I like to romanticize, like, oh yeah, I'm like interacting with it more, but at a certain point, I'm just like, I don't want to keep winding this thing. Like, just like charge up on my wrist. I don't want to do more work. So
No, for me, it's like a highlight of the day. So I could be sitting
yeah,
at my computer and just burnt out or something. I just sit back, take my watch off, and lean back and give it a few winds. Really enjoy that time with the watch. I know it's really silly, but
I do
uh,
too on my Weiss. I enjoy it. I
yeah,
enjoy watching, winding it from behind, or turning it around and watching it as I wind. I like the gears. I like to see that.
yeah,
I enjoy that too. I don't know
yeah.
that I want more than one in my collection, but I do. I do like it.
See, for me, I feel like I want all my watches to be manual wind,
Oh,
yeah,
because yeah, because I can't do that with an automatic. Then my OCD flares up, and I'm like, oh, I'm hurting the reversal wheels. What are you doing? You're overusing the clutch. What's wrong with you? um, but yeah, that's a highlight in my collection, and it's interesting that uh, you Torin, it's interesting that you haven't really experienced that. I know I sold my SPGM 221 because I felt like everyone had that Grand Seiko. Out of the Grand Seiko collectors,
Mhm.
I felt like everyone had the SPGM 221 or the SPGW 231, and I really miss them because I shouldn't have sold them. Um, I should have stuck to at least one of them. But
Did you
yeah,
feel that way about the Tudor Black Bay 58? I just wonder because I feel like at a certain point, like everyone just wanted to review it and like had to have it, and then I know a lot of people kind of flipped it. But do you think that played into you not liking it, or is it more the comfort issue with the bracelet?
it was more the comfort issue for me because that's kind of why I went with the blue one because I feel like everyone has the black with the
I had both.
yeah yeah. The weird thing though is this hasn't given me that feeling. So this Speedmaster, everyone has a Speedmaster. Every watch collector, I should say, has a Speedmaster, and not everyone does. It's just a silly thing to say, but you see thousands of them on your Instagram feed on Tuesdays. Like like every post you scroll by is a Speedmaster because it's Speedy Tuesday. But yeah, that it hasn't bugged me for some reason. This watch is just so good that it hasn't overcome my want to be different. So I had like a really strong urge to be different, and I feel a lot of us do.
Well, I
Um,
feel like within the Omega catalog, specifically the Speedy, there's so many variations, right? I think you can, own a Speedy and then it can still differentiate yourself a little bit because there's so many different ones.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Clayton, how about you? Do you have any thoughts about this incompletable, unaccomplishable collection? Do you even have like a goal of some sort right now? Because you added two really amazing Seiko divers with a lot of history. A huge like 1-2 punch of divers. Do you have any real goals, or are you kind of going with the flow right now?
Going with the flow, and I think I just want to be an interesting dive watch collector.
Yeah.
I think that's just what I want to do. That's what I'm happiest doing. And I have a couple really great non-divers, the Grand Seiko, the Weiss, and a couple others in the collection. And that's just what I like to collect. That's just what's fun to me. So I'm just going with the flow, but that feeling of contentment is impossible. Like you said, in the last 2 weeks, I added the SLA 05 and then the SLA 043, and today I've been lusting after that new limited Doxa release, the 600T
Oh
Pacific,
yeah.
and figuring out what I can flip to get that. So it never ends. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about the Doxa.
You haven't heard about that, Torn? The new
No.
doctor?
I'm
Oh
surprised it's still available. There's only 200. It's still
yeah.
available.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like an inside joke now that there's way more than 200 available because,
Yeah.
yeah, every day they seem to add a few.
So
But
yeah, I've been all day today. I've been going through my collection. All right, if I sell this, and this, but I don't really want to, so I'm not going to. I'm trying to fight the urge. But going back to your earlier point, I think that's one of the main reasons I didn't do a YouTube channel because I don't trust myself. I think I would feel real pressure to bring watches in and buy them, and I would be in trouble. So I think
yeah,
I'm better off just having a podcast.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like these streams have been really helping me with that because I get to chat to you guys, and I get to chat to everyone in the chat who we've been neglecting for a bit now, but um, we get to talk and hang out, and I can review one watch a month maybe, and I'd be really content with that. Um, but yeah, there's always a problem with the watch collection, so to speak. There's
mm,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, because I had that. I had the three white dials. I had the 9F white dial, a spring drive white dial, and a high beat white dial. And my Grand Seiko collection was complete. It literally, I completed what I wanted to do, and then I broke it. Uh, I broke it just to, I don't even know, just because I felt the high beat GMT was too thick. and then it just collapsed after that. It was yeah, I got rid of two of the watches that I thought were gonna stay forever. The spring drive stayed, and I don't think that'll go. But yeah, there's always something wrong, and when you try to fix it, you just wreck everything that you've you've worked up.
That seems
But
to be the trend with me. I'll be content for a while and then just blow
Mm.
it up and sell a bunch and then buy something else. That tends to be the I don't I don't know. It's kind of fun to do that, but selling is such a pain. I just want to do it less. So
yeah,
it's
it is a
really
pain.
not fun.
Yeah.
See, my
Uh,
problem is it's a coping mechanism. So if I get stressed, like my way to get relief is to like buy a watch.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or get in a car accident.
Yep. That's a good one.
Mm.
uh,
So going back to the Speedmaster real quick, I had Speedmaster Fatigue. I haven't owned one, but I had Speedmaster Fatigue, not being an owner, just seeing them. And then I
oh, okay.
got to see one in person, and I got it. And I thought, okay, I'll probably add one of these. I like having a mix of both. Like I have a couple classics in my collection, Submariner, Black Bay 58. Everybody has those, but then I have like the Synchron Military, the Weiss, and like the Aqua Dive that not too many people have. Those are all limited to, under 300 pieces, 300 or under. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I like to have a mix. It's really I don't let the fact that everybody might have one, really, if I like it, I like it.
Yeah. That's good to know. Thanks for catching me there. Um, so when you saw the Speedmaster, was that when you saw it like recently? When you saw the
Yeah,
sapphire sandwich and the
yeah,
yeah,
yep.
okay. So you think you're gonna add one?
At some point, I mean, I thought before probably never, and now it's a real possibility.
Yeah.
I try not to get too hung up on the water resistance and stuff. I think I'd feel comfortable doing everything I do, and I think I wouldn't worry about that too much. I know that
Yeah.
seems to be a sticking point for a lot of people, but I think it'd be fine.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
probably would. Like it's a robust watch. Like
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I got soaked to the bone. We went to Niagara Falls a couple of weeks ago, and I was wearing my Speedmaster. We tried to go mini golfing with the kids, take them through the dinosaur golf course, and it started pouring rain. There was nowhere to go. The kids were too scared of staying in under the volcano, which is the only shelter there. So we just had to keep trudging through. And yeah, I was like, oh yeah, well, Speedmaster is fine. Putting it to the test, the water resistance, but it poured like we were soaked to the bone.
were you
And
worried about it?
no, I wasn't.
No.
mm,
Um, I wouldn't have even been worried about the Grand Seiko, except I would have been worried about the strap, much more so than the
Yeah.
watch. Uh, in the Grand Seiko's 30 meters water resistance. Yeah, it's a champ. 30 meters is really, unless if you're gonna swim, it can really take anything. At least again, anecdotally, I've never had any issues.
I saw the Dark Side of the Moon that day too. That shop had one, and boy, that was if that fit me better, I may have chosen that over over the Submariner. But that was
Yeah,
it's so cool. What a cool watch. It's
yeah,
just a little big, a little. I could
mm.
pull it off, but it's just bigger than I like. It lugs hang over a little bit, which I'm not personally a fan of on myself. But yeah,
yeah,
what a really cool watch.
yeah. It's beautiful. It's so
Yeah,
light too.
yeah,
It's
yep.
nice. Let's see what the chat's talking about. Um, let's see. James Duffy mentioned, I'm content with my collection, but I can always move stuff in and out. Jason's here. Hey, Jason. I'd like a white or gray dial watch. Other than that, I'm happy with my current pieces. Cool. Wow. Look at that. Love the cheesy book. Art of Racing in the Rain. Character wears a speedy.
Oh yeah,
Huh. I did not know that book.
that's
We'll
a good
look it up.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they made it into a movie which I have not seen, and you have not either, I'm sure. But uh, the book's as a dog lover, it's a bit of a tearjerker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, There was the Zenith El Primero in one of those cartoons, like a Japanese cartoon. There was a guy who always wore A385, I think A384, one of those revival pieces.
Oh, cool.
And
Really? Huh.
yeah, and Zenith actually remade that specific watch because that watch never existed. The one that the color combination that's in that cartoon, and they remade it. Lupin. Oh, is it Lupin? No. Uh, yeah, I can't remember, but it's kind of
Well,
a
it cool could be Lupin. Yeah. Now that you
yeah.
mention it.
So you're familiar with that? Is that real? Lupin is real?
It rings a bell, but I'm not an expert.
Okay. Yeah. Sam was saying that he likes the new Doxa, but he couldn't justify it. I reckon Doxa will release different variants in the future for that one. It
I thought,
gave
didn't
me
you see You're Terrific? He reviewed the carbon fiber Doxa.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a
Good
good review.
weird or just weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. Let's see. Justin R is currently obsessed with a chrono, but not a speedy. Hey,
Get
Zenith.
that? There's actually now that I harken back to the Zin 103, I think they're releasing a new limited edition version of that looks amazing.
They are. They are.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
you bring that up? Sorry to put you on the spot, but
No.
Super thick though, right?
Yeah,
Like
17 mils or something.
yeah,
I know.
17.
Well, the sapphire sandwich of that version is also 17 mil thick. The Hesselite version is way better.
Yeah.
I hope they make a Hesselite for that. I can't remember what the model number is, but it has like a 12-hour bezel on it, I think.
Yeah. Let me just.
It's like a panda style.
Because the guys spoke about it last night, I believe. But maybe I'll check monochrome. I feel like it was one of the top news stories. Maybe not. Chaz was really enamored by it. Yeah, maybe it isn't here.
I'm trying to think where I saw it. Worn and Wound do something maybe? Is that where
That
I
would
saw
make
it?
sense. This is the Doxa we're talking about, the 600T.
Yep.
It's perfect. Like I almost bought that
Yeah.
watch too because I want a blue dial watch.
I think it's called the Classic 12.
Classic 12.
I think the Zin 103 Classic 12.
Oh, there you go.
It's a beauty.
There it is. I like that.
I don't think I could do 17 mil.
No.
That's just it. Yeah, it kind of kills it a little.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
because it's got the display case back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice though.
But yeah, great looking dial.
Yeah. I'd take the Speedy over it. It's a completely different price segment, but yeah. Are you considering it, Toran?
I like the look of it, but I don't think I would own it because owning the Sapphire Sandwich before, it was a little top heavy.
Yeah. Holden mentioned that his last Grail watch was the Omega Planet Ocean Blue Dial. Yeah. I had a tough time choosing between the blue and the black. I went with the black. Maybe I should have gone with the blue.
Yeah, I tried on the blue today at your authorized dealer.
Yeah.
It's very tempting.
It's so nice. Even the bigger
the thing
size.
is it competes directly with my Breitling Super Ocean. The layout is the same, like with the Airbix and the date, 3 o'clock.
The 6912.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I like the Breitling, how it wears better.
Yeah. Breitling would wear much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But the 39.5 millimeter Planet Ocean would, in my opinion, the blue would stomp on that Breitling, but not. It's just an opinion.
Yeah. Well, better movement. The bracelet, I think, on the Breitling is better. Sorry. The bracelet is really good.
I don't know, man. It's the clasp and the slanted links is.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it. It's just I like the Planet Oceans a little better. because of the the oval underside.
Mm,
It's just something about it. Your Speedmaster has it, so you kind of know what I'm talking about.
I do.
The oval links, it's so comfortable when it feels like satin,
The dial on the Super Ocean messes with my OCD. The 3.6 or the 3 being replaced by a very tiny date
Yeah.
window. I can't do it. I like it on the Planet Ocean a little bit better. It's the numerals are a bit smaller. The Super Ocean is really lovely looking watch, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure in person it'd be fine, but we see
I mean, I
these
tend to
big
agree with you,
pictures.
Clayton. Like, if they're going to improve it, they should make the date window bigger to be proportionally similar to the Arabic numerals.
Yeah.
But the clarity of the Breitling crystal and everything, like, it's
Oh
super
yeah.
legible. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great watch. Otherwise, that's my only nitpick, and that's just
yeah,
personal craziness.
Yeah. I I know the Breitling crystal is super clear, but so's the Omega. It's
Yeah,
it's getting
they
heated
do.
here. Okay,
no, I mean it's
They
just
both do it on both sides. They both put it on the top and
yeah.
bottom.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
My
double AR.
yeah.
my point was going to be that I didn't realize how close like they were to each other, um, in terms of viability, interchangeability. It because I always kind of thought that the 39.5 millimeter Planet Ocean was the ultimate upgrade to the Tudor Black Bay 58.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, thinking about it, the 42 millimeter Breitling Super Ocean is a pretty good upgrade too.
It is. I mean, it
Considering,
does have a more basic movement, but outside of
yeah,
that, I think the case is like really robust. Like the way Breitling makes their cases, it's a
yeah.
500-meter water resistant diver.
See, it's a basic movement, maybe on paper, but they've done a lot to it. Like that movement when you handle it, it feels
Oh, it
really
does.
premium. Like
Yeah,
if I I think it's based on the 2824, not the
it is.
2892, and they've
Yeah,
modified it enough that if you just gave me that Breitling and I didn't know anything about it, I would think it's at least a 2892 base, but probably better. I would have thought it's in house. It winds smoothly. It's just and because you own it, but um, that Breitling is really nice, and it doesn't wear too big. It's
does not.
42, but it just wears way better. It
Mhm.
wears comparable to the Black Bay 58, I'd say. Um, but yeah, that's just me. Sands of Time. Sam is a little shocked that Zin is 17 millimeters. I heard it's 17. Um, I can't
I think the
verify.
reason it's a lot of it's with crystal because there's a sapphire crystal on the bottom and it does like sit right below the case back, and then
Yeah,
the sapphire at the top. I don't know if it's domed or not, but it is broken up because there's like a mid case, a high bezel, and then the crystals. So
I just verified that it is. So Time and Tide says that it's 41 millimeters in diameter, 17 millimeters thick. So yeah,
Oof.
I guess I didn't see it on a bracelet, but if there's a bracelet option, it would probably balance it out better.
yeah. Let's take a look.
Because there is a bracelet for the 103. In fact, the 103 bracelet works on the 104 for anyone who's wondering.
Okay, it's interesting. Yeah, it looks like a beads of rice right there.
It looks
Ooh,
like they're both domed on both sides, the crystal and on the case back. So that's gonna add
that's
some.
probably a lot of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
I see it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. Well, guys, I know I didn't get through a lot of the chat. Navy Blue Monster is mentioning to check out the Blue Globemaster. That's actually um, one of my favorite Globemasters, with the
It's
pipe
nice.
and dial. I really, I kind of kick myself for missing out on it. I feel like they don't send a lot of it our way, because I haven't seen it in a long time, in stores at least. Um, Penny was saying, look at the IWC LLP, beautiful blue. Is that the all ceramic? Let's look it up for Penny. IWC Oh, that's really nice.
Ooh, that is nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. Would that be the same color as the Le Petit Prince? Penny would know. But
I'm really actually I really want to try out a Le Petit Prince Mark 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
Blue dial, yeah.
I bought the Oris Pro Pilot blue dial to kind of scratch the itch at the Le Petit Prince. Kind of did. I kind
It
of
kind of
forgot about
does.
it. Yeah. I totally forgot about the Le Petit Prince after getting that Oris, but
yeah,
it's
and I
always
bought
worth
that same watch shortly after you showed it to me.
Yeah, you did. My apologies.
And then I bought the Speedmaster. You're like, yeah.
Yeah. Only blue dials here, says Holden. All right. Well, I am running on fumes. So let's wrap up. I guess it was really great chatting with you guys. It was really fun. Really great seeing you guys in the chat. Don't forget to join us tomorrow. Bobby Legs is away, so we're gonna have Watch Soup on the Engineer Wannabe channel. So right here. Clayton, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, Watchdog podcast. It will be released on it's Labor Day weekend here in the States, so I'll release it on Tuesday. And it will be all about why watches cost what they do with Celine Driver, Dane from the Celine
Nice.
Driver
Oh, cool.
channel. So he has a lot to say on the subject. Kind of centers around the Zelos Mirage 2 release.
I think he's got
Yeah,
every Zelos model you can think of.
yeah. He asked me if he can swear, so I think he's going to be coming in hot. So
Really?
I told him, maybe let one slip here and there, but he promised to behave. But no, it'll be fun. He's great, and so yeah, that'll be out Tuesday morning.
Cool. Torin, anything to plug? Anything coming up on YouTube?
As I mentioned, I just released a video on the Oris Aquis 400 series caliber. Maybe checked out that dive watch review, and then I will be doing a review of the Longines Big Eye Petroleum Blue Dial in the coming week. So.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what
too.
you think about that, because I really like that watch.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, remember.
What do you got coming up?
Yeah, how about you?
Watch Suit tomorrow. Hopefully, a review of the Speedmaster. I've been meaning to review this for a while. I just keep stuff keeps coming up. Work. I wanted to review something this week, but man, we had a project going on at work, and it was a disaster. We had some longer days, and it was absolute disaster. So.
I liked your Q&A episode, and that you literally answered every question that you got. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Really good job.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun. I totally didn't even feel the time flying by. It was a lot of fun to do one of those. And I learned a few editing tricks, video editing tricks. So I tried to do a couple of extra things there. You guys probably didn't notice, but it was a bit, I think it was a bit more polished, that video. So I feel like I'm going to step up my editing game. I'm getting a bit quicker at editing. So yeah, we'll see.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's easy to obsess over editing. Sometimes you just have to release it and just not worry about it. You can get really bogged down. I definitely do in the podcast. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should see all the B-roll I get from my videos that never make it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hope you all have a great night. Remember, guys, you're worth it. I don't say that too often on live streams because I always forget, but you guys are worth it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a good night. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Thanks, Toran.